Morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday, the 17th day of July 2025. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your families are also safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in health and those that are the first responders who every day are trying their best to help save and comfort lives. Those that pick up garbage also to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are out there helping those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and those perverts that create the demands that cause these industries to exist. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and veterans homeless in the United States. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Scheduled today at 4:30 is a basketball game in Las Vegas, Nevada between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. This is going to be an interesting game. The thing is, I'd like to see the Knicks, and this is my personal selfish motivation. I'd like to see the Knicks extend their summer league season so that we can get more clearer evaluations of the players. The more they play, the more we can see. So far, we've seen, for example, we saw Tyler Kolek last game play very well after he played two bad games. Same with Beauchamp. So we'd like to see a more consistent picture of what they look like. Kevin McCullar has played well the whole summer league. He did not play the last game because of a contusion in his nasal. I'm not sure. They don't give the statuses at this point of the day with respect to who's playing and who's not. I hope McCullar is able to play. I have doubts about Nnaji being able to play because apparently he's had a foot issue from last year that flared up again in the summer league. I wouldn't be surprised if he sat this. In fact, I actually hope he sits because his position is solid. He's a rookie contract, first round pick. He ain't going nowhere. He got his roster spot. He has shown enough development at this stage of his young career that we know he's headed in the right direction. And so I hope he sits actually. And then there's Dink Pate, who in my view should get the G League the two-way, not G League, the two-way contract, one of the three two-way contracts that the Knicks have. Age 19, 6'7", he's a guard. He shows a lot of promise for the future. So I'd like to see him more today. Then of course there's James Nnaji, who also is 20, will be 21 in August, still very young, but 7 feet tall, 7'7" wingspan. I'd like to see more of him. And then Muhammad Diawara, who is 6'10" forward, 7 foot wingspan, 20 years old, and just turned 20 in April. So I'd like to see more of them. Hoop Porty, I don't need to see. I hope they actually sit Hoop Porty today. I don't need to see him. We know what he's got. He's going to be in the rotation, especially if they start Mitchell Robinson. If they start Deuce, I don't know if he'll be in the rotation because then you're going to bring Mitchell Robinson from the bench, right? So if they start Deuce, you'll have Mitchell Robinson from the bench, and then Hoop Porty will get minutes, but I'm not sure if he'll get rotation minutes. But if Mitch Rob starts, Hoop Porty will be that first 5 off the bench. So, but in either case, he's going to play during the course of the season, and he's going to be needed during the course of the season for what he brings to the table. I don't need to see him anymore this summer. I don't need to see him. I need to see Nnaji. I'd like to see more Diawara. I'd like to see more Beauchamp, Kolek, McCullar, Paint. I'd like to see what they got. Then you got, to me, the other guys are just fillers. Shuka, Jordan, Grant, Campbell, Ware, Bayless, Jamal Bay. These guys are just really, to me, just fillers to fill out roster and are auditioning for teams in the NBA. They're just auditioning for whoever needs a guy that they can get a contract. And you wish them the best. But as far as this season for the New York Knicks and our championship hopes, which are legit championship hopes, I want to see what these guys have and what can they play this year. Again, like for example, I'm convinced Daddy he might play, depending on what Mike Brown feels. But I feel like another year of giving him some G League time and development will be good for him. Plus, we really want to see him be available. So I don't want him being hurt with this foot thing going forward. So I'd like to just rest him. So we'll see. But McCullar or Beauchamp or Nnaji or these guys can be doing two-way contracts and can get 50 games in with the Knicks. And then during the course of an 82-game grind, they will be called up and play some. That's going to happen. And then Diawara, he's going to be on a regular roster. And so here's a young guy that's 20 years old that might get some rotation minutes if it's a 10-man roster. So we'll see at 6'10" and he plays a wing and he can play defense. That might get him on the floor. So I'd like to see more of him this summer. So this, and then playing Indiana today. Indiana is 1-2 just like the Knicks. But the last game they lost to Minnesota. And this Furphy kid, who I liked coming out of Kansas, he's one of the kids I liked coming out of Kansas. He was smaller in terms of skinny, but he has a lot of skills as a young boy at Kansas. And he's showing them now. He can ball. So he's going to be a handful today for the Knicks. Indiana, part of being in a organization that has established their culture, is you can expect Indiana to come out with tough defense. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Tyler Kolek, just like they did during the course of the season, except it'll be just different personnel doing the same thing. So you're going to have a lot of pressure on Tyler Kolek, bringing the ball up the floor. You're going to really try to disrupt the Knicks offense. This is a good test for Kolek. Was last game just a fluke, or does he have it now? Today, Indiana will help us find out today. Indiana will help us find out today. So you're going to get a lot of pressure on the ball against Tyler Kolek and them today. You're going to get a lot of pressure on the ball, and they're going to play some tough defense in Indiana against Indiana today. They're going to play some tough defense. So we'll see what the Knicks got. It would be nice for them to get a win to continue their summer league so we can evaluate them some more going forward. But today we're going to find out 4:30 in Las Vegas, Knicks against Indiana. And again, people are still, fighting for spots. Them 3 two-way spots, nobody has them. I mean, they signed Beauchamp late in the season, this past season, to a two-way contract. So I'm expecting him to have manned already. He got one of them two-way spots. But Anton Watson, Kevin McCullar, they're still trying to get theirs. Plus, there's still the veteran minimum available from the Knicks. So that's still there. Now, Kevin McCullar is probably now in the mix for a roster spot. But he's got to, again, there's one roster spot. You still got Landry Shamet out there. And then, of course, there's all of the people that everybody's looking at that's not on the Knicks roster right now, who I don't pay no attention to. I'm not worried about Ben Simmons. I ain't thinking about CP3, none of them. It's only Shamet that I'm looking at. And if we can get Shamet, then that's the end of the conversation. Unless the Knicks make a trade, and the biggest trade chip they have is Tyler Kolek. If they make a trade, they would have to trade Kolek into somebody's cap space. And at a minimum contract, some team could probably, there's a lot of teams that could do that in exchange for some second rounders, one at least, hopefully more than that. So if they traded Kolek, that would open up another roster spot. But again, we got to see where Kolek is, because he might be too valuable to trade, So we got to see how these guys play, which is again why we like to evaluate where they are today, and hopefully they get a win today and going forward. So this is a big game. It's a big game for Tyler Kolek. It's a big game for McCullar. Guys it's a big game for Nnaji. People that are looking to get either a two-way spot or a roster spot, if not on the Knicks, on another team. See, with respect to Nnaji, in the West right now, teams are trying to get bigger. Dallas, the Lakers, they're all trying to get bigger. They're trying to get bigger, and a lot of times they're looking to get bigger to use two bigs, or just to be able to compete with Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City got Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet, so Holmgren. So everybody's got to compete with the leaders. That's them. So they got to compete against them. So they're trying. Everybody's trying to get bigger. So a guy like Nnaji could catch on to one of them teams on a minimum contract. So he's not only trying to show his stuff with the Knicks, he's trying to show his stuff for everybody else as well. He just come out of Barcelona, so he's committed to trying to make the NBA. Okay, so his agent, his team got to feel like, and again, I think so too. Right now, there's a need for fives, especially now. Miami, Khalil Ware. Some of the comments I've heard from Eric Spoelstra talking about Khalil Ware needs to add professionalism. There could be openings. So a guy with a good attitude that works hard, like a James Nnaji, he could catch somewhere. Okay, so this is a big summer league for him as well. So we'll see how this all pans out. But there's money at stake, there's positions at stake, there's contracts at stake. That's why I like this. That's why I thought this was going to be an important summer league, and it's an important summer league. So I'd like to see where they at today and see how they handle their business on the floor today. Starts with Tyler Kolek. As I said, Indiana's going to pressure him. They're going to pressure him full court. So the Knicks got to set picks for him. The ball's got to move, and he's got to have help. McCullar, Beauchamp, he's got to have help bringing that ball up against pressure. They should be organizing this. This guy Brink, this is, if I'm seeing it from the side, I'm sure he sees it. So there got to be a game plan to relieve the pressure off Kolek when they come at him, and they're going to come at him, to make him go more off ball and then move without the ball and then set up the offense and get his shots. He got some really good looks the last game, which he was knocking down. Let's try to get that again, okay? So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, game's at 4:30. You all enjoy it? I know I will. Be safe out there. So